I guess welcome to part two of my questions and answers and all these kinds of things that I have in my head. But when we were talking last time, it was fascinating for me to find out about how difficult it is to balance a business, like a business, nothing to do with athletics, and try to run that and have the family run that, and then have the family continue to run what your dad started with the soccer club. How difficult is this, and how many different versions of you do you need to clone to make sure that things happen the way that they need to?
Oh, thanks for having me again, John.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate that we're a family that is very committed and motivated to continue to protect and share the story of my father, and especially what made him very happy was to work hard, maintain the restaurants, open more restaurants, and at the same time his hobby, um, having a good soccer team and competing. So um, I'm very we're all very authentic. We're very true. We're the same. The way that we treat the soccer players are the same as how we treat the cooks and the new person that is training 2 weeks, or the person that's been with us for 25 years. Everybody's the same. They're all very important, and we just keep it very simple, and it's just respect and showing examples and a lot of communication. So it's always a day-to-day battle, always trying to solve different problems. They call us the firefighters because we're always turning off flames that we encounter. But um, yeah, it's a lot of hard work, but we're a team, and we're very focused, and we'll work together and with a lot of communication.
What do those of us who are just who just know you from the soccer side, what do we need to know about the firefighting and the business aspect and all of this? What do we need to know about what we don't know about how difficult this is? Because I mean, it seems to me like this is you're literally. Is there such a thing as an average day?
Yeah, there is. Maybe Mondays, like right now, it's believe it or not, it's more of a relaxed day in a certain way, that you're not moving around so much in the locations. There's locations throughout the Bay Area, and there's a lot of traveling. But at the same time, you take advantage of that to think, plan, make phone calls. Um, so we're all spread out in the locations. But one thing that a lot of people don't know is that they might see me go into the soccer training, the pitch, and or the stadium, and they might see me focused in the game, but deep inside there's a lot of things going on through, I need to solve because a cook quit unexpectedly, or we need extra food for an order, and we need to scramble to get certain people to work at a last minute. So it's a we're always, I guess, in the mask, same, looking very calm, but just deep inside there's a lot of things that we go through, and day by day and week by week.
Because I would imagine that it takes a very special individual to be a part of your family, whether we're discussing the business side, the business, or the soccer side, because you're having folks that, and they need to present the best image of El Farolito that they can. It's not just you can't just have a person who is one or the other. They have to know that they're representing both sides of this. You're looking for very special people from the absolute beginning.
Yeah, and then you definitely you learn through, with mistakes. Unfortunately, we've had um, problems, or at least we've had mistakes in our product, or at least in certain locations, the way that customer service, or mistakes in the order, and you learn, and you try to be patient with the people to give them the right tools to do things right. And same thing with soccer. You think it's a player that is going to keep his cool when they lose, and then unfortunately when you lose, you see the dark side of the person, and they present a face that doesn't really represent us, or at least what we intend to, right? So uh, not everything is going to be perfect. Not always you're going to win, but you learn and you try to with experience and repetition, try to find the formula to make the less mistakes as possible.
So when you have that special person and they go and they leave, whether it's the restaurant or the soccer club, and they become successful in that new path, and then they come back and they sit there and say, "Hey, coach, I was able to do A, B, C, D, and E." And what's it like to see them come back as they are part of the family, and then be that extended family, and then come back after they've had their own successes away from El Farolito?
No, it's great. There's been a lot of cases where they don't return back, and that makes me very, very happy. We've had so many stories where people come to this country without speaking the language, and they work with us. They learn recipes. They learn the way that my father implemented a lot of things, and now they have 3 or 4 other restaurants, and they're entrepreneurs, and they're living their life, and maybe they learned something from here, or maybe they didn't. But for us, it's it's amazing to see that they started somewhere, and then maybe we, or at least a company or my father's recipes, helped them to succeed in life. And it's amazing to see that. And a lot of people say, oh, you should be careful with the recipes, you shouldn't share them. My dad's idea, our idea is like, you could keep them, you could do them, but the most important thing is the habits and the freshness that you do. And a lot of people don't have that discipline to do fresh things in restaurants. And the same thing with soccer is a lot of players, they didn't get a professional contract, or they couldn't play anymore, and they come here and they're training with us for 6 months. They get back into rhythm, and they go and they try out somewhere else, and they get a contract, and they don't come back here anymore. And I'm super happy that we were able to help them out in a certain way, not to teach them, because I believe that these players, at least the ones that I get, they already know how to play. It's mostly just getting them back into rhythm and getting into the intensity of a different style of football here in the country, and then they could go and implement it in another club.
And this is one of the things I think that may not necessarily compute with folks, is that when your roster, this is an amateur club that we're talking about here. So when they're gone, and there's no financial benefit coming back to you when they sign with a club, here, Czechoslovakia, wherever. It's like you're there as that gateway to a future, but there's no financial return. The emotional return and the depth that you get to have from that individual as a part of the family is there, but there's no financial benefit to this.
Correct. Yeah. We're always very straightforward with the player, very transparent. A lot of people, agents that I know, they tell me, you should try to make a contract with the player, represent them, get some percentage if they sign again. But our idea is not like that. We want to keep being for now that amateur team that provides a pathway for young players or experienced players to get back into the professional ranks. But we signed everybody as an amateur. Everybody's reinstated. Their professional status is reinstated into an amateur status. So there's no ties. There's nothing. So that's why for me, it's very important for the players that don't know us to come here and already know that there is something secure, that there's transparency, that we don't want anything in return. And one of the first step is the amateur reinstatement. Besides that, registrations you're not allowed to sign a professional, so automatically you're reinstated, so you're free, and there's no strings attached. And for me, it's important that we at least begin that relationship with the player, that you're here as long as you want, and whenever you want to leave, you're free to go. And hopefully we could help you out. In exchange, you come and obey certain conditions of discipline and order and professionalism and respect to the group, respect to the coaching staff, and represent the club the best way as possible.
And the initial response. So when a player reaches out to the soccer side and you sit there and say, "No, we just want you to renounce your professional status for however long it is, you become an amateur, We don't get anything out of it other than the fact that you get to get back into playing shape. You learn, you're under our system and our style, and things may happen where we've had success in competitions and such. What's that initial reaction from those players? You mentioned how it is with agents, but how is it with these players when they're like, oh, really? That's what's going on here? What's their initial response?
Well, all the players that we get have had professional experience, but maybe their last experience or professional game was about 2 to 5 years ago. So they're here in the country. They're playing somewhere else on the Sunday league, and they have that experience. You could tell by the way that they play and the way that we see them react to certain moments of the game. So we invite them, or they come out and try out, and we explain to them the situation and the main principle, the main message is that we want to keep things very high intense and high performance. So the first step is to reinstate you, and then if there's something in the future that you could go out, if there's no strings attached, and hopefully they could be very, very motivated to maybe have this opportunity to play it at Open Cup, be seen by a scout or a professional team, and that's how we usually work. But right away, we're very, very transparent with that, and there's definitely no exchange for helping them out.
Is there a part of the menu there on the restaurant side that would be the personification of who El Farolito is as an entity, whether it's the soccer side? Is there one menu item that is so intrinsically you that it would describe what El Farolito is across the board?
That's a great question. It's a difficult one as well to respond, because every time I bump into people that have been coming here for many, many years, and they have a specific item. So if you would, maybe the non-soccer, I think it would be the super carne asada burrito, because it's just a traditional one. I know family. I know someone that their family would be working here. I'm not going to say names.
Yeah,
but it's an MLS referee,
okay.
MLS pro ref. He told me an amazing story. He said that when he was a teenager, he would come in, help out his father, and he was a contractor. He would come out and help out his father, and every time they would come out to the city, his father would come to El Farolito and order the sandwich, the carne asada torta. And hearing that story from an MLS professional ref, it's incredible. Like, so that I don't know which item, but in the soccer, in the games, we like to give out to the players that their favorite, at least for this past generation, the 3 to 4 years, they love just grilled chicken and steak with rice and beans on the side. They love that catering plates, and they just pick on their own. And I remember back in the day when my dad was still alive, the over 35 group, the over 35 years old group, they would love the super quesadillas, and that was a long time, a big group for over 10 to 15 years, and they would take out the quesadillas. So it just depends. We're very fortunate. It's been 40 years that the restaurant has been alive, and different generations. And just imagine how many people have been around here for 40 years in the club. So it varies.
You're making me hungry with all those mentions, man. When I ask you, what do you need? Is there anything that you need to get to the next level athletically, to make sure that you can continue being that force and being that influence there in the San Francisco area, to be that national force? What do you need to continue to grow?
I don't think, at least for the adult category, I think we would be okay with the same formula system we've been working on. We don't have a lot of fields, and I've managed to create a certain way to train and adapt to the situation. We already know what times of the year we need to start working and to when do we plan to finish. But the real thing for me is to try to help out the soccer community here in San Francisco. There's a lot of players that don't make it to D1 or D2 because of grades, and they have a lot of talent. I think the next step for the club is to try to find more field space to work with, U17s, U20s, all the way to maybe all U15s. Give an extra space to the community to play, because there's a lot of players that can't make it to MLS Next or ECNL because of prices or maybe traveling distance. I know parents that would pay to play to have their kid in a MLS Next, but unfortunately because of traffic and gas prices here in the Bay Area, it takes them over an hour to get to training, and to be training 4 times a week plus the games, it's very, very difficult. So to have another space for families and kids to prepare themselves, and out of, I don't know, 100 players, maybe 5 could make it to the professional ranks. I think that's huge. So for me, it's having our own field or fields to have and invite more of these players that are right now, for example, in our team in the future. They know exactly what we look for. They already know that they have the DNA of El Farolito, what we want, the way that we want to work. They could probably share that to the young kids, and continue to share the story of El Farolito, my dad, and help out the community to continue playing.
Does it seem like it's been 40 years?
For me, I've been here for 16, and I feel like it's been 50. But it does seem like it's a bit more than 40, because there's just so many people out here with old gear from El Farolito. There's random people that show up to me and they say that, I remember you when you were 5 years old, and I don't even know the person. And, so it's interesting what El Farolito has built, what it created, and it's all thanks to the beautiful game. There's nothing else to it. And then it's not only just the game, and then there's the food part of it. You find people from England randomly, messaging us like, "How can you ship us some burritos here?" And
Man,
it's incredible. But it's all thanks to. I give credit to, and I'm very grateful to the city of San Francisco. At least my experience. Maybe my dad didn't have it, but I grew up here. I lived in different parts of the city, in different communities in the city. And communities, I mean, the soccer side, the art side, the different parts of the city, and it's such an incredible and artistic and creative space, regardless of the prices and maybe the transformations every 5-7 years. San Francisco is very, very unique, and there's so much, you get so much inspiration, and there's so many creative people that you just throw ideas, and groups come together and they align and they create so many things. And you see it even in sports or in whatever it is. Right now in Oakland, you see so many people popping up these random, soccer fields, and here in San Francisco as well. There's new soccer fields as well, and basketball courts everywhere in East Oakland, and it just keeps growing. And I think there's so much space. It's very limited space, but there's still a lot of space available to create a lot of things.
How nimble have you had to be in growing both sides of this equation over the last 16 years?
I don't know. I think there's time for everything. You can. I've been very fortunate to have the time to. Let's imagine like 4 hours here, 4 hours here, 4 hours there, each day. So I kind of balance it out, and I've been very fortunate to experience a little bit of everything here in the city, in California, and then at the same time with my connections in South America, Latin America. So you got to stay busy. You have to keep moving because the opportunities just don't come. You have to go look for them. So I've been very fortunate to have a little bit of everything, and most importantly, ask questions and learn and look for things. And we have a lot of things in the internet, and you have to keep going and you have to keep moving because learning just doesn't come. You need to go and experience. You make mistakes, and I've made a lot of mistakes, and a lot. So, but I'm very fortunate that I could still have the opportunity, to try it out again next year. In case if we don't win a championship, and if we lose a game, we have a chance for another game, another week. So it's about being confident and trying to learn and not be afraid to make a mistake. That's huge for me.
How long did it take you to understand that and to be confident enough to ask a question? Because there are a lot of us that will sit there and it's like, yeah, we got it. It's under control. And then it's not. How long did it take you to understand it's okay to ask questions? You're no less a businessman. You're no less an athlete or a coach or what have you. It's okay to ask questions.
It's all thanks to my father, because I had the confidence to ask him anything, anytime. So I grew up with that, and if it's, to me, it's a no-brainer. Like, if you don't know something, ask for it or look for it. So my dad gave me a lot of confidence and trying things out. Like, go for it, do it, but be very open to hear that you made a mistake, because a lot of people like to do things, or at least my kid. I'm taking an example. My kid, he loves to try things out, but when I tell him he makes a mistake, he gets mad or he says he's not wrong. So I think it's very important to have that open mind that, hey, try it, but be aware that you're going to make a mistake and be open to receive it. And I think it's huge. You always want to hear, at least for me, is advice and help. That's the way you avoid another year of experience, or at least avoid another year of experimenting things. It's better to know it right away. And it's it I was very fortunate, extremely fortunate, that my father gave me that confidence to test things out and to not give up and look for another chance to improve.
So what's next on the soccer side? How much rest are you giving yourself before you get ramped back up?
I only had 1 week, which was well, actually, no. We had a scrimmage with U18, the U18, the Earthquakes Academy.
Okay.
This past Saturday, we tied 2-2. It was a great game. We were losing 2-1. In the 85th minute, we tied 2-2 against an extremely talented group of U18s, the Earthquakes over there. Gerson Perez, the son of Hugo Perez. Maybe some might know, might not know. Hugo Perez was in the El Salvadorian national team coach. He's worked here in the U.S. as well. His son is now has taken over the U18 Earthquakes, and Lucci's director over there. They invited us to do a practice game for their preseason. It was a fantastic game, and seeing 16-year-olds compete against us, and they're just fantastic team, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them this season. So this was this past Saturday. Today's my rest. Tomorrow I begin again with MLS Next Homegrown division with the Town FC. I'm going to be taking over the 2011s, which is the U16 category there for the fall, and try to help those kids out, help the club as much as I can. There's a fantastic coaching staff over there. I'm going to be doing that till December, and then hopefully have a nice winter break, and we start with a Farolito in the beginning of January.
Fantastic. I can't thank you enough to take a little bit of time on your off day to catch up with us, because off air, we start talking and it comes up with other ideas and other questions. And so you keep opening these doors and I feel like I have to continue to open them and ask questions. And I thank you for that. Continued success on both sides of the equation. I love being able to catch up with you and pick your brain and give advice to others, somewhat third person. But it's always great to see you, my friend, and we'll catch up with you soon. And when you figure out how to ship, we'll be at the front of the line for that stuff. That's going to be fantastic. Great to see you, my friend. We'll see you soon.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me, and good luck to you guys as well.